Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'd like to show you how I made this little card. I was just in the mood today for something kind of bright and springy. I'm so ready for summer. And so I came up with this one using some of this paper, and this is the Garden Impressions 6x6 Designer Series paper. And then I'm also using the stamp set that sort of goes with this, and it's Abstract Impressions, and I'm using the thank you. I'm using the little grass impressions here and these flowers, and I use those on the inside to get a little bit of a bright cut. Okay, so let me tell you what I used to make this card. I'm using a piece of what's it called, Blueberry Bushel, and it's just this pretty bright blue cardstock, and just 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded at 4 1/4. If I can find my bone folder, it'll get scored. It's amazing to me how things just disappear. There it is. Okay, so there we go, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Now I did take a little bit off the edge of this, and what I did was I took 3/4 of an inch off of this edge. So I'm going to put this on my trimmer, line that up at 3/4 of an inch, and take that little piece off of the end there. And that just gives us a little bit of a different look and adds to the interest, I think, of the card. Okay, the next thing, I'm going to keep my trimmer out here because we're going to be cutting some more paper. Then you need a scrap of Blueberry Bushel. I'm using some pieces of Very Vanilla for the inside and for the sentiment. And let's see, I've got a scrap of Shaded Spruce and scraps of Melon Mambo. And you can see I've already cut out my little Shaded Spruce leaves here. And I'll show you what I did with the punches to make all of that. But that's all of the pieces that we need. Okay, so this piece needs to be cut down to 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut it. There's my 5 1/4, and then I need a 3 1/4 piece here for the front part of my piece, and then this piece needs to be cut down. I think that's still, yeah, 5 1/4. So I need to cut this piece down to 1 inch. So I have a 1 inch by 5 1/4 and a 3.5 inch by 5 1/4. So let's just get started here. The card is really pretty fast and simple. Let me get it out so we can kind of keep an eye on it up here. And the first thing we can do is to go ahead and put down our piece here on the front. And I'm just going to use some snail here to put this piece down on the front of my card. There we go. And then I'm going to put down my layering piece on the inside here. And put that piece down here with a similar margin all the way around. And then I'm going to take my 5 1/4 by 1 inch piece and go ahead and lay that down along the edge. I don't know if spring is out where you are, but We've had so much snow this winter. I'm so ready. So I'm just going to put that right up to the edge along the very vanilla at the top, the bottom, and the side there, and lay that piece down, and that gives us already a little bit of decoration for the inside. Now, I have used the Everyday Label Punch, and I cut out my piece from my Blueberry Bushel scrap and my Very Vanilla scrap here, these two labels. And as it turns out, when you cut this label and you trim 1/4 of an inch off of each side, then you end up with an absolutely flat piece in the middle. And I'm going to do that now and show you exactly what I did. So I took my punch here and I set it at the 1/4 inch mark on this side of my trimmer and trimmed off that piece, and it absolutely takes off just this little piece here with the scallop on the end. Then I'm going to take the other side and do exactly the same thing. Set it up right on that 1/4 inch mark. Hold this down and trim that piece off. And there we've got a nice little piece that we can make a border using our blue piece. So now this is going to get layered right on here, and we're going to have a place for our sentiment and a perfectly shaped border to go around that piece. And that's the piece that I'm going to put on the front here. So I think next we need to get to our stamping. And the colors of ink I'm using for this card, the sign won't stay still, is Melon Mambo, Blueberry Bushel, and I'm using Shaded Spruce. And so I've got mounted from my stamp set these little green pieces here, and I'm going to use the Shaded Spruce to ink that up and just put a few of these little green spikes down here right on the bottom on the inside of my card here. And then, like the set says, it's kind of abstract impressions, so I'm going to put some abstract looking flowers up above those stems, and they don't line up perfectly here, but that's the whole idea. You're just getting an idea of what this might look like. So I just went ahead and put my flowers down there, and there we're done with the design on the inside of the card. Next, I want to stamp my thank you, which I've got mounted also from the same set, on this piece of, and you'll notice I have not been using my Pierce mat. I found that these stamps seem to just make their mark pretty clearly without any cushion. And I suppose I'm of course, just because I say that, I won't do it for this one, but you can see how well you're inked up because they're photopolymers, so you can see through them. And it just looked to me like they were going to make a pretty good impression. So I'm setting this up to be as straight as I can on this piece. And there we've got a lovely thank you message. And then this is going to go on here. And let's just go ahead and do that. Now, I want a little bit more glue than that on there. And I'm going to set this right between those two pieces and get my piece set down. And there we go. Just as simple as that. Okay. Now, I did cut out some these leaves. I just love the shape of these little leaves. They really don't match anything else on the card, but I still like them. Those came from the Foliage Frame Framelets, and there's a couple different kinds of leaves in this set. There's this longer one, one that might look more like a fern, but I just love these little leaves. So I cut out a bunch. I don't need that many, I don't think. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few dimensionals on 2 of them, and I'm going to cut off the little stems here on these leaves. Okay, I think we're ready to go on this. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set this down right in here. There we go. All right, now on these little leaves, what I did was, as though to tuck them behind my thank you message, and well, actually just so that they're right around that piece. And I forgot to put my snail on this one. Nope, they all have. All right, didn't put snail on this one. There we go, got away with it. Okay, and then this one also put in place right around that same place, so that they're pretty much the same height as my thank you message. Then the last one I put so that all of the leaves fit on the message, and I'm going to add a little bit of snail right along under the thank you. There we go. And then with my little scrap of melon mambo, I use I can't remember exactly what they're called, but I'll put the name on the screen for you. I think they're called the bitty flowers. I can't remember exactly. Anyway, I cut 1 flower out of each shape here of the flowers. And you don't have to do this. You could make them all be the same, or you could use some other small flower punch that you have. And let's see, get 3 of these, and I just put them in my hand to give them a little dimension, and use the back of my pokey tool to kind of give them a little bit of dimension here. So I'm going to do that to all 3 of them. And then what I did was I put each of them on a glue dot and then put them into place right here, covering the stem of the foliage. So I have 1, 2, and then my last one here to put down right here on this edge of the message. And then I used some rhinestones, and my rhinestones don't seem to be sticking to this, so I'm going to use a little bit of my Tombow glue to put down a little drop of the Tombow here. And I'm going to put some of that Tombow, just a drop, in the center of each of these flowers, so I can make sure those rhinestones don't go away. And then on these larger flowers, I put a larger rhinestone, and I colored it so that they would be the same color as the centers of the flowers. So I have my Dark Daffodil Delight here my blend. So I'm going to color up a few of those. And I'm going to take some of these little ones, and I'll fix this one first that doesn't want to stay. Then put my 3 on my flowers. And I have a third one colored, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it on the card. And there we go. That is the project and the card for today. Very simple, but a very cheery little card. And like I said, I'm in the frame of mind to be cheered up and urge spring to arrive. So thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. We've got just a couple days left in March for the join offer, $175 worth of product for $99. And that would put you on my team, which would be lovely. Also, this is the last couple of days left for Sale-A-Bration. And my prize draw for the month of March is the Wonderful Romance bundle, which is the stamp set and the framelits. And all you have to do is put an order in on my website, www.lbedinger.stampinup.net, or you can get to it through my blog, www.inkandingenuity.com. So thanks again for stopping by, and I'll be back soon with more cards and more projects. Bye!